just stop for a minute? Just stop. It's hard, isn't it? Because there's always something to do. Whether we're sat in work looking at to-do lists or schedules or budgets or spreadsheets, whether we're sat at home looking at the pile of washing or the garden, whether we're looking at a relationship, somebody else that needs some support or care, whether we're thinking about ourselves and things that we need to do to look after ourselves, there's always something, isn't there, to do. You know, sometimes that pressure comes from church. Maybe there's always something to do for church, which is why it can be hard to give ourselves permission to stop. Well, would it help you today to know that God actually commands us to stop? Welcome to Refresh, our thought for the days for the summer. Last time we were thinking about relying on God as a shepherd, and part of that means listening to his plan for us. And sometimes when we think about God's plan, we think about things that we might have to do and step out. Maybe there's some nervousness around that for you, about God maybe asking you to do something that you're not comfortable with. Maybe there's some excitement in you about what God has asked you to do. Maybe there's a real question around, I'm not quite sure what God's plan is for me. Well, I'm not sure what the specifics are for your life, but I can tell you that God has given us a design for life. And as part of that is the command to rest, regularly to rest. It's like God wants to say to us, will you just breathe? Will you just be reminded that this world will spin without you for just a moment? Will you just stop so that I can refresh you? One of the things I find remarkable, we were thinking about the Genesis story last time, weren't we? Was that God takes 6 days in the story to create, to make, to form, to fashion, to fill, to shape. And then we're told he takes a day off. God takes a day off. It cannot be because he needed to, because he doesn't need anything. He doesn't grow tired or weary. So why did God rest on the Sabbath?
The Israelites are to observe the Sabbath, celebrating it for the generation to come as a lasting covenant. It will be signed between me and the Israelites forever, for in 6 days the Lord made the heavens and the earth, and on the seventh day he rested and was refreshed.
And God rested and was refreshed. If you know the Genesis story, or the start of it, well, you'll know that there's this rhythm to it, this repeating pattern. And God said, and it was so, and God saw, and it was good. There's this sense of God's delight in his work, his love in creating, his love for creation. And then we get to the 6th day, and when God sees it all working together, all existing in perfect harmony, he doesn't say it was good, he says it was very good. And then on the 7th day, he stops to just enjoy, to just take stock, to be refreshed. And so often in the rhythm, when we've got to something, when we've hit a deadline, when we've got something finished that we were looking to get done and we can tick it off, so often our mind rushes on to what's the next thing? What do I need to do next? And this reminds us that we're not called to be human doings. We're called to be human beings. It was a way of reminding the people of Israel and the people of God, and us too, as God's people in the New Testament, that life is more than the sum of our work. That we are more worth more to God and to each other than our efficiency or our effectiveness. Our value is so much deeper than that. And when we find those places where we stop for a moment, just to value, just to appreciate and to be appreciated and to be valued, that is so refreshing. There's another time earlier in Exodus where God makes it clear that he wants to share this feeling of refreshment with everybody.
6 days, do your work. But on the 7th day, do not work, so that your ox and your donkey may rest, and so that the slave born in your household and the foreigner living among you may be refreshed.
Did you pick up on that? Everyone, every level of society, every livestock that is owned is to have this rhythm of yes, work, because life without purpose is not meaningful, it's not restful. But to have a break, to have a breather, to have a chance to appreciate and to value and to be appreciated and to be valued. I don't know how easy you find it to rest or to stop. I don't know how well you holiday. I don't know how well you take a break. But how about just not doing nothing, but just taking a moment to look around and to say, God, what can I rest in? What can I see that you and I have done together, that you've done in me or through me, that I can just really appreciate in my life or through my life into the lives of others? Where is it and what is it that I can just rest in today? And don't feel guilty about it. This is a command. And when you do it, trust me, there's real beauty, there's real rest, there's real refreshment in that for us today.